Hello Internet, my name's Aiden, or Commander Caffeine. I wanted to come here and give you a more proper devlog, especially since the ones I've been posting are more of a tech demo, I guess you could say. But I'm going to show off some of the big changes here. This is the map from the original project that you saw in the last video, but this is actually the main menu. So as I can show you in the project, this main menu will be changed now. There's some differences, as you can see, placeholder buttons. The only buttons that work are these start buttons and this quit button. The main menu is currently set up because it was built when this build was still the main build. Now some things have changed since the last video. The quality is better for graphics. We have a task system with more tasks. Now I don't think this is going to stay because I think it's just a meaningless time filler. But there's simple tasks. They're not that important. There's only a few types. It's here. But in here you also have a camera system, which was built for the building. Now, of course, the building was never finished. You've got just placeholder enemies that are moving through from this room right now down to here. They're just cylinders. They just snap to another position. But compared to the last one where you snap turned, we now have animated turning in the original build. We still have the animated doors and our flashlight, but as you can see, this build is very button-based. Everything is on your screen to click. You have a back room back here where you have your breaker box, which if your power would go out originally, you'd come back here, flip all the breakers, turn it back on. There was this door which was never completed. It can close by turning it, slowly opens, but nothing was ever coded for it other than that. And there was a crude time system put in up here using this clock, just made with simple shapes. But overall, everything's pretty empty. There's not much to it. But that was the original build. Now, over time, I took a break, I re-looked through things and decided that things should be changed. It doesn't look as good as I wanted it to. So I've started on this build. This is the Redesign build. Now, you can see it's pretty heavily different. There is no longer buttons for anything. You simply turn by dragging your cursor to one side of the screen, and it'll then snap you to the proper direction. You also no longer have a button for your flashlight. Instead, it's a key press. You just press F, turns on your flashlight, and you can turn it on in any direction right now. Now, you still have the computer here, which you can turn on by pressing this middle button. It does this. Then you get this. System is very work in progress. It doesn't do much, but you have your time at the top now, and it tells you this. You can type in help. For now, all it tells you then is to type in camera, so you backspace, type in camera, and you get your cameras. Now currently there's only 2 cameras that are actually set up, one for each hall, which are these right here, these doors. You simply click on them to open them, or close them. And instead of those funky sliding doors, you've got these more proper doors, just simply made with built-in objects from Unity. And then on the computer over here, you've got your camera system, which you switch by pressing the keyboard down here. Now, of course, these blank cameras and the cameras that copycat the first one are all just placeholder cameras that aren't set up yet. Then you can turn back off the computer with the middle button and turn it back on. Now, it's still work in progress. Some things are a little jank, as you can see, because this is a really new redesigned build. And to leave the cameras, you simply empty your input bar at the bottom, and it brings you back to this. Now, currently, as I said, there's not much. And a big difference, too, is unlike the previous build, if you wanted to quit, you had to hold down escape, and then it would say quitting, bring you to the main menu. This one, pops up a prompt which warns you it's not paused. Your night progress for the night system that will eventually be fleshed out won't be saved, and you have a yes or no. If you hit no, it just resumes. It turns the menu off. If you hit yes, it brings you back to this main menu. And the quit button does work, but it's in the editor. Nothing happens right now. Now I can show you. This is the Redesign build. And unlike the original build, this one is a proper mapping. Instead of just sloppily slamming in cubes together, we've got proper planes. That way we're not making unnecessary geometry anywhere that doesn't need to exist. But this is your main office scene right now. The map still needs to be finished since this is a whole new map and the map has been redesigned. You may notice we've got a different layout going. I still have to finish adding the walls and everything, but there's a pretty big difference because if I go back into this scene, this is the original map right there compared to the new map. Things have been much more downscaled in some areas to make it so that it doesn't feel oddly large for no reason. But things are work in progress. You've just got empty walls right now in spots where a doorway or an entryway is going to be put in certain rooms. Rooms still have to be added. And I can actually show you the new map. This here is the new map system. There are some plans for it that I still have to figure out how it's going to happen. It's just made in MS Paint. It's dirt simple. Just a bunch of blocking together to flesh out an idea. But these will be hallways. The office here. A big room split into 3 separate pieces, then more rooms around it. But I have to scale some things up still, scale them down. And a bunch more rooms are going to be going back here, and this hallway is going to, I think, I might be extending this hallway back to here, but I might not. This room might be a sealed room where it's just connected to the office, and I don't know if the breaker system is going to continue through. But if you have any ideas, feel free to comment them. I'd be happy to listen to anybody who has any ideas or anything that they think would be pretty good for it. Currently, there's no enemy models yet. There's no story to it yet either. It's just the base systems being built up. But if you have any ideas that you think will work better or you think would be more interesting, I'd love to hear them in comments. And if you have any tips for building up something like this, feel free to say those as well if you know more. Because I'm not a professional. I just do this as a hobby because I find it fun. But that's all. I wanted to give you guys a peek at what's actually going on and a lot of the changes that have been going on with the change to a whole new rebuild of the game and a redesign, changing how it looks and some of how it's going to play. Well, thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe if you're interested, and I'll see you next time.